All right. Let's see. Make sure you can see my screen. All good?
Yep,
Okay, awesome. All right. So let's take a look. So okay, I want to ask you a few questions to start off first. Okay. So
sure.
in terms of uh in terms of like league improvement and like goals, where are you at right now? Like, would you have ranked goals? Do you have like I don't know, like where are you at?
To be honest, I don't really have a particular I don't know, I like a specific rank I'm looking to get. Like I don't. Some people um say like oh by the end of the season I want like this number.
Hmm.
I don't necessarily have that. I'd like to hit diamond, I guess at least, but like I don't know much more than that. Like if I care more about knowing more about the game than like I don't know. I just like the sense that when I play that I'm playing well, and that's where I get the fun. I don't need to be feel like my rank is high. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
So
that makes sense.
yeah, that's sort of the goal for me. I just want to feel like I know that I'm improving and that I like the sense that I'm playing well. So
Yeah,
that's
for
sort of
sure.
the deal for me.
I mean, like obviously having X rank by X time complicates a lot of things, so you won't have to deal with that fortunately. Um so I think that's like fine, and like as long as you're just focused on improving and just like playing well in your games, and if you're getting satisfaction from just, winning the games that you're in right now, then I think that's a good way to go about it. How much like time are you putting into league right now? Like how much of a focus is it?
Um, uh, pretty substantial. I don't have a ton to do like outside of it right at the
Mhm.
moment, so I can spend a lot of time on it. I'm playing like 3 to 5 games a day. Like I play a 3 block in the morning, usually around nowish,
Mhm.
and then sometimes I'll play two more later in the night. But and then I don't know. I just spend a lot of time like watching people play the champions I play.
Right.
Um, so I don't know.
Yeah, at least like enough for sure. Like 3 games a day is like all you really need. And it seems like you have plenty of games this season, like decently. I mean, I feel like I have low games this season, and I have like 40 more than you, but that's just because I
Mhm.
I like to play a lot. So there's that. Yeah, I mean everything in your OP looks good. Like you have Talia as like your very clear main, and that's great. I can give you a lot of Talia advice, obviously. Being a Talia player. Um, you have like other like random stuff down here that you could probably clean up. I don't know, like
Yeah.
it's
Hmm.
like it's like
Yeah.
whatever. It's not a big deal because you have a clear majority and that's fine. And sometimes I'll play the random off champ just because it's banned or taken or I just whatever happens. But it looks good. Like is Ezreal ADC like your secondary role as well?
Yeah, IQ mid 80.
Okay.
So sometimes I play Talia ADC when I get filled there, but I just like I don't know. Sometimes it just doesn't feel right with like I don't know. I don't like focusing like you said even like it's not great to focus entirely on the comp. Like it's good to be good at your champion, but like
Hmm.
sometimes when I'm playing AD carry and we have like 3 AP already, it's like, well, I should probably play Ezreal.
No,
I
yeah,
don't
it's
know. I've played a ton of Ezreal. Like I played way more of that champion than I have Tilia at this point.
right.
But
Yeah, that's totally fine. I mean, like I don't recommend just only playing the one champ everywhere you go. Like unlike like I
Mhm.
will do it because I literally like know that I have a higher chance of winning the game. I'm like way more likely if I do play Talia bot. But if you have a champ that I mean, it looks like you're pretty good at Ezreal and you're not getting filled that often, so it's totally fine. It looks good. So like I don't have any issues with like champ pool or anything like that. It looks like you're on your way up, like just fine. So I just want to help you like kind of clean up some of the stuff, maybe show you like why some of these losses are coming up.
Mhm.
So, is there anything specifically you think that is like an issue when you're in game? Like anything you're struggling with that's like a recurring theme?
I think a lot of the games that I lose, like at least that are like not close, like if I lose my lane, I feel like I'm pretty feast or famine. Like I'll die a lot if I start dying,
Hmm.
and if I'm playing well, then I won't really die much at all. I feel, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I honestly, I've just been spending all of my time, like when I'm reviewing and stuff, trying to focus on the champion more so than the rest of the thing. Because I literally like I've been playing Talia for like 2 weeks now or something. So
Mhm.
I like, it's not um like I feel like a lot of mistakes still come up that are like if I had 100 more games on the champion wouldn't happen, right? But
Right. I
like
see.
just like mechanical error, like you probably know, like I haven't played a champion before this where at least enough where there's like the what's it called, like the clamp cast thing, like abilities that if you're not in range for, your champion will walk to them.
Oh yeah.
Um, like so Talia W like is an ability kind that I'm not super used to. Um, so I still mess that up like occasionally, like when I'm trying to use my WQ combo or WE. I'll
Yeah.
like just cast E and then realize, oh, my W didn't cast because I like cast it too fast, like my character wasn't in range yet. So
Yeah.
there's a couple little mechanical things like
I
that.
will say, I had the same problem. You can turn on the setting. It's a setting in the game that is like clamp to max range. So when you throw your W, it'll like when you press it, if even if it's outside of the range, it'll auto cast at the max range instead. So that might help. I actually enabled this recently because I was having the same issue where I was just out of range and it caused issues when I was like chasing someone. So
Okay.
yeah, you can actually try it out. It's a bit wonky when you like first do it if you've never like done something like that, but maybe
hmm
it'll help you since you're coming from champions that don't have stuff like TLW anyways. Um but yeah, we can definitely get into a lot of the mechanical stuff. Yeah, I mean if it's not fully integrated yet, that's fine. You've been playing her for 2 weeks. I mean, I don't know. Is this like the first season you played her and you only have like 40 games, right? Like that's still pretty
Yeah.
good. Like it's a decent start. But yeah,
hmm
there's definitely I'm sure plenty that we can improve on. So let's get into the bot here. Let me pull it up. It's just the one you sent here.
That one is the second, like the most recent loss on the OPGG. I think I played it yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Yeah, I see. All right.
I don't know. So this game felt like really like I should have been able to win.
Mm-hmm.
I guess. Like I felt like I had the tools to win this game and I just didn't. Um, I don't know. Um, yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything so like when you're going into game, uh like is there anything you're specifically like thinking about like in terms of champions, in terms of comps? Like for this game
I
specifically, is there something that like immediately you're thinking about?
um mostly I've been trying to think about my matchup. Like I don't know. I just like I don't have enough reps with the champion to feel like I'm super comfortable knowing every matchup yet.
Mm-hmm.
So like I've just been so like um I'm just trying to think about like what important abilities they have that I can play around that they have. Other than that, I try to I don't know. I've been bad in the past about like paying attention to where the jungler is starting, and so I've been
Mm-hmm.
trying to make an effort to do that more. Other than that, I guess I don't really think about a ton, no.
Okay.
Um This, by the way, what you're about to see here is an off case where I have my hands off the keyboard for a second. There's a graves in this bush I'm about to face check.
Okay.
Um, and it's this is not the usual. I usually am very like I'm not changing music at this point. Like I'm not like I feel like a lot of
Right.
people get caught doing this kind of thing. Yeah, that's
Okay.
a
So it's
thing
not
that
a
doesn't
regular
normally happen,
occurrence.
but
Okay.
it happens here. So
Yeah, no worries. It's all good. Okay. I mean, I would just encourage you to at least like just have a hypothesis about what's going on, because like obviously like you are gonna get mostly overwhelmed by your lane here. But I
hmm
would recommend just having like a bit of a hypothesis about like how top matchup's gonna go, how bot matchup's gonna go. Right. I mean, Smolder's obviously
hmm
very new. I had to like ask my teammate the other day what Smolder does,
hmm
or like strength, right? And he's like not strong early, basically, right? So
No.
like this matchup
Yeah.
is just gonna be fucking really sketchy for these guys. I mean, they have
Yeah.
Morgana to prevent it, sure, but I mean, Samira Nautilus is like the
Yeah,
classic kill lane, right?
there's, like, not a ton of bot lanes that I expect to, like, win early versus Samira Nautilus, but
Yeah, exactly. And then like jungle matchup is obviously like the most important thing you have to think about as a mid laner because it's the thing that you can impact like the most like directly
Mhm.
and consistently. And like Brand is obviously like very popular right now, but I mean like I don't know his exact fighting power into Graves, like even as like like whatever. Like I don't know, right? But I know Graves
Mhm.
likes to invade, and I know Brand like does really well. Like when if he's snowballing, right? You're gonna combo off really well with him because you can CC layer for him, or he can land CC and you can layer it for him, right? Like you guys play well off
Mhm.
each other. Obviously, mixed AP is like not the greatest, but whatever. And then Mordekaiser is like pre six, it looks good. Like I think this matchup looks fine. You can look to influence it, but post six it becomes difficult. And I would only like kind of play around your
Yeah.
jungler towards the top lane.
I don't really
Um,
like roaming when I see a Mordekaiser in the top lane. I'd like if they're 6, I'd just like there have been too many times playing like any champ that I play that I've played in the past where you like go top lane and you're like sick, we can gank this guy, and then you just get mortaled and
yeah,
it,
and yeah, you just get owned,
yeah.
right? Yeah. So yeah, it's probably post six. Not really much to worry about up here unless there's a specific play for it. Like don't disregard it at all. But
Mhm.
mostly, I mean, this game mostly you have to think about like, okay, this matchup's not the easiest for you, right? Like it's a very intense matchup, like micro
Mhm.
intensive because of just like that's mostly just major versus major matchups, especially with Talia. Like you kind of have to like
Yeah.
finagle your way through the lane. And I would just be watching this Graves, right? Like if you're tracking Graves and you can prevent like him from like getting his Samira ahead, like getting this bot lane ahead, and you can prevent ganks and relieve pressure from this bot lane, like I think you should be in a good spot because once you get into like the team fights, right? You, Brandon Smolder, like will just own like this Grave Samira Nautilus, like straight up. Like you
Mhm.
guys will just like melt them. So
I
that's
love
what
seeing like Samira enemy team.
yeah.
When I play Talia, it's like I don't
Yeah,
know.
just completely shuts her down. Yeah. I've actually I don't know if this is like important, but I've been going this way to walk into this bush. I end up going like this way around this way because I think
Uh,
it's like slower to go this way and then if people like show up in the bush from the other side, like if they come from this angle, it's a bit weird. Something
mm.
you can try,
I
but anyways.
saw I saw Midbeast talking about how he like since Talia like runs fast next to walls, he's sometimes like cover more spots for invades than normal because you like get to the lane faster than most champions with
Yeah.
her passive. But I guess yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I used to walk this way or like this way, and then I got like caught by a pike that was like already sitting in the bush. Like when I walked into
Mm,
the bush, and I was just like, holy shit. Okay, so like if there's a hook champ, probably can't do that. So
okay.
anyway, just something to keep in mind. Um,
Mhm.
let's see.
I was kind of trying to focus heavily on like at least trying to keep moving. I feel like in a lot of lanes that are like this, I can typically focus on moving a lot and get hit by less skill shots. Like I'm trying to be active with what I'm doing versus just looking at the
Right.
wave.
Yeah, I mean, I my general approach to most matchups right now. Well, I think there's like kind of two approaches you can go with Tilia into these mage versus mage matchups. Is first you can like not hit the wave at all and then just like pull it for the first two waves and then look for a bounce like later. I think this is like the more passive scaling approach. And then once you bounce the wave after the first two come into you, then you can base for like tier or if the lane gets extended, you can base for like a tier amp tome or something like that. That way you can
Mhm.
avoid it because it most champions find it very difficult to deal with Talia shove like on the bounce because if you just one hit the wave faster than they can like hold it, like it's not really feasible for them to hold. So I
Right.
used to do that a lot last season. This season I've been more aggressive and I've been like shoving waves like one and two and just like trying to create a minion advantage because minion advantages in these matchups are like the most important thing because it allows you to like get past the wave and really like bully them off of it because it's
Mhm.
hard for them to trade into you. So like, I mean, you played this like quite passively. The Oriana isn't really like walking up on you too much either, like except to like just trade blows with you and like you're fine.
Mhm.
Um, but I have a game that I can show you. I can show you what I mean with like how you can play the waves to be very aggressive because yeah, like it's not that big of a deal when you're playing against like a player like this who's kind of just like matching you on the shove and like letting you do whatever. But once you run
Mhm.
into a player that is like hitting the wave and really just being up in your face, I think you're going to struggle with this type of style. So
Mhm.
something I should also mention is level one. I generally always ward here level one, especially in the mage matchups because you can't
Mhm.
afford to ward deep at any point because you're constantly going to be battling for wave shove against
Yeah.
mages. So I always ward level one. I just like walk up here at 105, check the bush with Q,
Mhm.
and then ward the raptors. I think that'll also help you with your jungle tracking. So something to keep in
I
mind at
ward
least.
raptors a lot level 1 too, actually. I just,
Hmm.
I l didn't this game I don't know if you saw, my bot lane placed a ward on enemy blue,
Oh, okay.
um, level 1, like, while I was face checking the graves. So
Yeah,
I
I
just,
see.
um, I don't know. I didn't wanna like, re-walk into the side that I thought graves was on, to go play like, I
Yeah,
usually place that ward level 1.
I see.
Um, but, I, yeah,
Yeah,
that
I
makes
mean,
sense though.
I wouldn't be like too worried. Like as long as you are properly maintaining distance, especially like top side is like is you're not very vulnerable because if you're bot side, like supports will sit in the bush, like here or whatever.
Mhm.
But top side, like especially against the graves, like just walk up. Like you can, if you see him here, you can cue him from distance, and he can't get on you. And you just cue the bush every time. That's what I do every time, and I can just get the ward down. So
Okay.
let me here, let me pull up this VOD for you because I think it would be beneficial in showing kind of how I like to play these lanes. So like this is, I mean, this is versus Azir, but it's the same thing, right? Both Talia
Mhm.
or Azir and Orianna do the same thing where they kind of are like are lane bullies. They slowly just poke you down and they outrange you. So
Mhm.
this is what I do level one, by the way. I like walk up, I get it's like at 105 and I just ward here. I mean, probably shouldn't have done it this game, I guess, because Graves has sweeper, but a lot of the times this isn't the case. But anyways, so then as soon as I as soon as I walk up to this wave, I'm hitting it immediately, right? And you'll
Mhm.
see like I throw Q, I hit all the back line, I hit the front line, I walk out of his thing, right? I'm
Mhm.
just constantly autoing. And then I'll throw Q on backline again, and then I get this wave shove, right? And now it forces
Right.
him to just walk back here. Like he can't do anything. He has to like collect these minions, right? And allows me to like walk up get in his face, get Scorch procs, get Q procs, right? All of that.
Mhm.
He got level 2 because of the thing, whatever.
The ward,
But like
yeah.
still I'm gonna be doing the exact same thing, right? So like he uses Q, which means his ability's down. And now I get level 2. I have minions. Like I can Q these minions, and then he's like completely vulnerable, right? Which is why he has to give so much respect to me. And I just like walk up
Mhm.
in his face and bully him off of it, right? And this is all
Right.
because like if he was like more like ready for the wave and like kind of pushed me off of it, like maybe he has some fighting power. But I just got to the wave first. I autoed at like every possible second, and then like I'm just like yeah, I'm just like slamming Qs into the wave, and then like just getting up in his face. And I
Mhm.
continue to do it here. And then this is like, and then I kind of had a decision like right around now where if I feel like the lane is like super heavy trading and I need to get a base for tier, then I'll go back at around like 500 gold after wave 4, or
Mhm.
I'll decide to decide if the lane is like more even and just more chill. I'll wait till like about 800 gold and look for like a tier and an Amtone base. But yeah, so
Mhm.
just like keep that in mind as like a possible style, and like maybe just try it out like this, like just be a little more aggressive and hit the wave more often. So I
Okay.
think it could help you out, especially with this electrocute setup. Like people get caught off guard a lot.
Mhm.
So we end up getting this crash. Is this cannon wave? No, so this is the
No,
wave
I
after
I
cannon.
actually think
Yeah, I would say I personally here would just go for the base. Like I think so right here,
Mhm.
like on this cannon wave, you should know that okay, well, first off you should know that Graves is gonna be on bot side because you your bot lane worded the blue buff, like you said. And
Mhm.
that means like he's gonna be pathing top to bottom and he hasn't showed anything top. So like right on this cannon wave, I should think, okay, I'm getting like low mana, you're at 200 mana. You have a good like opportunity right here where like your wave is going in, the cannon can help you shove. So
Mhm.
I need to get this wave in and I need to base instantly and I need to hug this side so that Graves can't gank me, right? Like these are like
Mhm.
the things that like have to happen so you can get a good base here. And this is
Okay.
just because you've been playing like because you've used like a decent bit of mana. E's like are super consuming, so if you want to save mana, don't use E is the general idea, and it's fine if you do because you can just go for this early base
Yeah.
tier. But yeah, like I
I
would
was
just dip
planning
right here.
to go recall here. I
Hmm.
like start my recall here in a second, but I looked back at the wave and like realized that like it wasn't cannon wave. I've been like trying to focus on backing on cannon waves, so like you miss
Hmm.
less, right? And so I just sort of stayed here.
Yeah,
But yeah.
I mean it's like fine, like it makes sense. But the thing is, you have TP, and generally, like it's totally fine to use your TP, especially if you're going for this tier base on Talia. I think just using the TP on your first base is like fine. Like I don't
Okay.
think there's really much reason not to. Um, so yeah, I would just keep that in
I
mind.
guess you'll have it back by what, the 10-minute transform time and everything, so you can.
Yeah, like you're really not going to need, especially like once you hit tier, like and you're getting higher levels, it becomes easier to wave clear on Talia, which means your shoves are faster, which means it's less likely that you're going to miss anything anyways. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, and I think just like a little bit more intent, right? Like when I'm in this position, like my intuition is screaming at me like I have to shove this wave and get the base, right?
Mhm.
Um, and I don't wouldn't worry about like too much about warding because you already like you should kind of already know that Graves is gonna be on bot side here, and I understand that like
Mhm.
it's not that easy to just say like you should know, but it's something to keep in mind. If like you know where the jungler's starting, then just try to just make that guess as like what
Mhm.
what side he's gonna be on. So you hit this like kind of slow just because it seems like you're a little bit worried about getting poked out, but with her positioning, just realize like you're trading health to crash the wave, right? That's your goal
Right, I
because
guess if I'm recalling, it doesn't matter,
exactly,
right?
yeah. So even then, I think you could have based right and TP'd, but I get it's all good. Like this wave is fine because you can crash it. So I actually don't like using W in these situations where like the
Mhm.
wave is like this because and you don't have enough mana. Like if you had mana, then sure. But like what I would do is like I would auto, and then I would big Q the back line, right? And then just
Okay.
continue autoing the melees over and over again, and then throw my second Q at the back line or E if it gets low enough, right? Um,
Mhm.
and that'll help you like be a little more clean because the thing is like these guys are the most important to for you to hit to kill because otherwise you have to like walk up super deep and try to auto them to death, which isn't gonna happen if this Oriana is like realizing that you're low mana, right? So
Mhm.
I would put a little more attention on these casters, especially early on, right? And you can hug really deep because your jungler is on this side, and theoretically you know that Graves is on bot side, so don't be afraid to hug
Mhm.
on that side. So yeah, I mean Oriana walks up. This is whatever. Like I would just dip. I see the intent to bait here. That's I mean you can't really bait. Like Oriana's gonna know. Like if you're walking randomly up into into
Yeah, I
river, like
guess.
it's
Yeah,
whatever. It's the situation. It's not like you did the best you could with the situation, but yeah, it's not.
I think
So
I
get the
based
base.
on tier and boots here. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. I think like boots makes a lot of sense into these major matchups. Although I would buy a pot at least because Oriana poke is brutal, right? So
Mhm.
if you're against any champion that
I don't
pokes,
really
like
buy potions very often past the first buy,
mhm,
unless I buy refill. Like if I have 150 to get a refill in a matchup that I think I need it, then I will. But usually
yeah,
I'm not really buying potions.
I mean that's just like the struggle of not getting like a higher gold back, right? Like it's like if
Mhm.
you got higher gold, then like cool, but like you didn't, and this matchup kind of like requires it to be bought. I think
Okay.
you can make an argument that like if as long as like you are like shoving well enough and then like go for another like base soon, then you can like skip it, but and like get the refill instead. But I would always just buy a pot here. I think it's like just too necessary. So
Mhm.
um I would get up in her face a little more. Kind of want you to like make her scared. Like tell her that she can't touch this wave, you know?
Mhm.
So I mean yeah, she's scared. Yeah, like get like sit on this edge. Like sit on this edge. Throw your big cues. I don't like this. I don't like the cue here because you should be focusing fully on her. Okay, nice. You land the combo though. Oh, clean. Okay. So I think
Yeah.
you could have been like I can tell, right? It's like you want to tread that line of like being like up in her face and showing her that like she's not allowed to touch a wave, but like also like baiting her in. And I think like you landed a solid Q. Like this is sick. And you crazy snag it on the end. I guess it's a clean solo kill for sure. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
I walk up this way. There's a ping. I don't know if you noticed my bot lane
Yeah.
pinged that Nautilus was walking, so I walked up instead of like back.
Yeah,
And
that's totally fine. I think that's actually like I would probably do the same thing. I think that's good that you caught like the ping there. I don't think like I'm not gonna worry too much about this. I think the kill is good, and your immediate reaction to like walk up away from the ping is like fine. Like I don't have any issue with it. So Lucid's first, okay. I've uh I've been going Lucid's early on a lot more recently, but I don't think I would do it before at least one amp tome, just because I feel like the AP is too valuable on Talia.
okay,
Um, because like you need the damage to clear the to clear the wave more effectively.
okay.
So and like it's often that you're like kind of running out of mana early. Like if you have to use like multiple Qs, and you have the lucids like for more CDR. So
I guess I didn't
um
think about it that way, like using more Qs versus less Qs. You'll like use less.
yeah.
Obviously, you'll use less mana, but like I don't know. It didn't
Yeah, I
like
mean it's
you.
just
It
something
takes less
that
Qs to clear the wave. I guess if you have more AP, huh?
yeah, I've just had to like fill it out on like Talia over like a lot of games. So
I've been
yeah.
seeing Odysseus go like really early lucidity boots a lot. So I don't know. I've just been kind
Yeah.
of copying what I see from people who are better than me.
Yeah, I think that's fine, right? Like and just watch how he kind of like plays his matchups too. Like once he gets lucids, like if you really want to get into it, like how many Qs is he using on the wave? Like how is he like playing his like trades and stuff? Like how much mana is he using? That kind of stuff. Like just watch for it so you can like better replicate it. Because if you walk it, like if you roll up with lucids and then just start throwing Qs out like nothing, you're gonna run out of mana like in half a second. So
Hmm.
um, if you're ever watching something like that, just make sure to get into specifics about what kind of is going on. So um,
Okay.
I wanted to mention like just like this E here, it just doesn't like do much. I would like I want you to like stray away from like throwing out like abilities like that because I don't know exactly like what the intention here was like with the E, but I just think
Um,
it's kind of like
I was. I think I was trying to thin the wave a bit
mhm,
because I wanted to see if I could hold it. I think I'm not sure
I see.
actually.
Yeah, I mean I can see it. I would just like I would just throw Qs though, right? Like if I wanted
Okay.
to thin personally, I would just like kill this minion and then hit the Qs on these casters back here. I think like
Hmm.
that's plenty for you to do. And worst case scenario, you can always just like W the minions away without using E. Like it's actually kind of a sick
All right.
little mechanic. You can just W it back so the minions catch up easier. So anyways,
Okay.
it's not a big deal, but just something to keep in mind, especially because E is so much mana. So if you do something like that like early on, it can be like the difference between you getting a clean wave shove versus not. So
Okay.
We haven't paid too much attention to the side lanes of this game, which is or like yet, which is fine because I mean we're only 6 minutes in. Oh,
Yeah, so
the,
this is one
the
of
internet
those, like,
DC.
disconnect things. So it'll happen again here for just a moment, and then it comes back, but this happens, like, maybe once every 2 or 3 games, and it's really annoying. It doesn't usually, like, happen at a time that, like, just insta loses me the game. It's happened,
Right.
like, once or twice like that, but, most of the time, it's, like, just something like this, and then
Okay, I see.
I can play the game again.
Yeah. This is a little unfortunate because Talia
Mhm.
just or Oriana just dipped off
Ariana
bot
just
side
left.
here.
Yeah.
And so like it might be just that you're distracted by your internet DCing. But you don't throw any pings off bot side.
Mhm.
Like after this, like your bot lane is in such a vulnerable position that you need to let uh the Oriana know or like let your bot lane know that the Oriana is like moving to bot side, right? So just
Mhm.
throw danger pings like down this way.
Okay.
Um so you like it's like missed, right? Like I've lost games because I didn't ping like one roam before, you know, and it's just like fuck, like I really wish really wish I would have thrown the danger pings, right? I mean, unfortunately nothing happens, but I mean Nolus is like walking
Mhm.
up on your bot lane and maybe if Oriana kept going, so
Yeah.
yeah, a bit of an unfortunate circumstance. So this is fine. Use this like I want you to hit the wave faster. Because like
Okay.
it seems like when I'm here, okay,
Mhm.
I see like okay, my like something's happening bot lane at least, right? Like you should be checking
Mhm.
right here. Like you see Oriana here. You should see the mini map and see like okay, something happening bot lane, and Oriana's not in the wave. So my goal, and she's like posturing to go this way too, right? So get this
Mhm.
wave in and make her lose as much as possible, as fast as possible. Because especially if she's continuing to go bot as well, like you need to get plates, right? Or you need to hit tower.
Okay.
Like you need to force her to like make the decision of go bot and commit to bot or go and collect mid wave, right? So
Mhm.
just be a little bit faster, especially and when you do that, right? If you're faster and then she shows back up here, now you have ult to make the opportunity to like go bot
Right.
lane while she's catching the wave, right? It's all about like
And
this
I don't
push
have
and
to stay
pull.
and shove this now. Yeah.
Yeah, like you kind of get stuck here and then yeah, Nautilus shows up.
Yeah, I get flash queued by Nautilus.
Brutal. Oh, and you got ignited too, so you can level ult and get out.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. It's so funny. I saw people like flaming me for not leveling my ults in my video. I'm like, it's for a reason, guys.
It's a thing. It's a
Yeah.
thing.
Um.
Yeah. Poor professor at the end always tells me that I got late level 6, and I'm just like, "No, I didn't, I swear." I just wasn't leveling the spell.
Yeah, that's funny. Um. Yeah. I mean, this is tough. This is tough for sure. I think. I mean, like the
I mean, the
initial
situation
fix.
doesn't happen if I had shoved this way faster, right?
Right. Yeah. Like the
But
initial fix is like um get your wave in sooner. But the second thing is also like hover toward the top side instead because you just saw Graves and Nautilus bot lane, right?
bot lane, yeah,
Like
I
they just
guess.
showed up. And it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, Mordekaiser isn't top, but you have like way more likely it's way more likely that you're gonna get ganked by Graves or Nautilus from bot rather than from top, right? And it's like kind of a bait that you have this ward here because you think like yeah, like this is the side that I have my ward on, so I should lean to that side.
Mhm.
But it doesn't really like if you know that they're on that side, there's no reason to not just hover on top side instead. So
Mhm.
also something I would recommend is I used to do this a lot where I would only flick the melees into the back line and then try to combo from there. I would instead flick them this way because this gives you like then you have to hit the minions here, which means you can stand here in queue.
Oh, so you don't have to walk up as
Yep, and
far.
then
Okay,
you're much
yeah.
less in the range of the Oriana. So uh something that I would do like I used to be like so reluctant to do that. I don't know why. I think it just like made more sense you do the flick damage on like on the melees and whatever makes the lane clear or wave cleaner. But yeah, it's just way more important that you have safety there. So a couple
Mhm.
things just like leaning to that right side and being aware that like Graves and Nautilus are going from bot side if anything to gank you, and then being a little safer in that wave shove. So That's all good. At this point, I would really be paying a lot more attention to your sides, right? Like there's nothing that
Mhm,
you're gonna really get done in this 1v1 that's going to help you win the game compared to what's going to benefit you, like in terms of like helping out your bot lane.
mhm.
So let me see. Yeah, so it seems like you're doing that decently well. I like it. I don't like that you're not looking at this sooner, but I mean you'd look eventually, which is fine. Um, nice free pickings, maybe. Okay, clean.
Um, okay, so I wasn't paying attention to where I think I probably could kill Graves here too, but I wasn't paying attention to where Ori was or like how fast she followed me,
Yeah,
and I didn't see her mid, so
no,
I
that's
just
fine.
didn't want to walk up.
I wouldn't be walking into this graves. Yeah, for sure. Like I think this is totally fine. Like throw the big Q, maybe it connects. Yeah, like it connects, but he's so far away. Like you have to chase him so
Mhm,
deep, or he was walking to follow you. So I think this was a fine. Like this was good intuition.
mhm.
I would just eat this wave.
Oh, I
You
saw my mid wave coming back, and that my bot laners were walking here anyway, and I thought that I could help them out.
mm,
See, like,
yeah,
it's pushing back on me mid, so I can, like, just run and catch it. But, like, I
true.
mean, I guess.
I see it. I think I don't know. Maybe like unless the wave is like already like freezing, I just eat the bot wave every single time.
Okay.
And like especially in this scenario, like where like you have to sit. This is such a huge time investment for you to sit here and tank minions to um to like help your bot lane, right? Like if you
Mhm,
just one hit this wave, it's even anyways. Even is good. Even's great. Like
mhm,
that's all they need. Um, and especially because like your bot lane was moving mid, like he can just soak these two waves. Oh, and since by the way, since he's moving mid, you can just eat the next two. So you eat this one and then combo the next one as well,
mhm.
and then just have them both. But
Okay.
yeah, and then you move back here, which is I don't like. You
You
have
think
so
that
much gold. Like
yeah, I guess.
Lost Chapter is super important for you, right? And your brand is pinging here. Like you need to tell them do not do this. Like straight up, like this is not good at all. Like I don't know, like Mordekaiser is like massive threat to you. Um, we just saw Nautilus in this area. Did we not just see Nautilus in this area as well? Yeah, like
Mhm,
Nautilus is mid. Oriana has shove on you, and you haven't bought, right? Like this just puts you in like a position where like your only focus is getting a base, right? And now it's gonna be so difficult because Oriana's always gonna have first shove on you because
mhm.
you're down HP and down items. Yeah, so this is a brutal position for you. So I would just yeah, hella pings on the top side, which is good. Um, yeah, you can play this slow, this wave. Oh man, we have fruit, maybe. Oh my God, we get him. Okay. Holy shit. Okay, so this is like best case scenario for this like scenario at all. Like holy moly.
Yeah, I
So
have no idea why that guy blast cone back in, to be honest, but
yeah, I mean he saw he got poked by the Ori and like I guess thought that there was something here. Okay, so first lesson: do not come back midwave here if you're on HP deficit and gold deficit, right? Um,
okay, yeah,
okay, well, I mean, first before that, point zero, eat the bot wave and then base.
okay.
Um, but point two is don't come back mid and just base. Point three is ping this off. Like you do not want any of this because like the pings being thrown here are not yours, right? Or wait, no, they are yours. I lied. Okay, so this is good. This is sick. Like you communicate to your team like you don't want to do this. I personally would hard shove this. You have TP up, right? So if your team is still pinging assistance here, like they are,
I can get my reset
you
and
can
go
you can just
back.
slam this
Yeah.
wave, reset, and then TP in, and then the play is actually like doable because you have Morgana here as well. So
Mhm.
that's initially what I would do, but you end up going like you end up taking this like a little slow, right? You kind of just like throw Qs on it and then E's, and then you're just in a position where you have to follow through with this anyways.
Mhm.
Um, and it's just yeah, it's just such a mess, you know? Like I don't know what is happening up here. Like Mordekaiser is using all this stuff up top. Oriana like
Mhm.
just leaves you. Like I'm not gonna. I think the reason the Graves blast coned over here is because he thought the
Because you
Oriana
thought
was gonna
it was gonna be there.
fuck you up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So um yeah, this is just like all sorts of a mess, right? And you don't even get any of the void grubs. I don't think, right? Like yeah, you
No,
lose
we
all the
didn't.
void grubs, right? So it's just yeah, you walk away with a kill, sure, but it's very messy and not replicatable,
Mhm.
replicable, I guess. So thank God we finally base. We just have a full Seraphs now.
Yeah,
So
right.
sick. Okay, so this is like the point where okay, it's like okay, I'm strong. You're 85 CS at 11, beautiful. You
Yeah. My Morgana walks in and dies. It's pretty sick.
yeah um
I don't think we can chase here ever. So I just like didn't. Maybe I should have pinged her, I guess. But
I don't know what Oriana's sums are. But as soon as
uh
she starts walking like this, I would actually just ult. Like ult to cut her like right
really.
here.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I guess. I don't really think about that very often, I guess. I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know.
something that I've had to look because like your level 6 ult or your like rank 1 ult is not very long, right? So
Mhm.
you can actually like use it to catch like people in these scenarios. Like what I'll do a lot of times if my laner doesn't have flash, I'll like duck off to like the side and like my if my jungler's on this side, and then I'll ult to cut them like this down the lane
Mm,
because it's actually like you're just you can like pick up free kills like this because no one expects you to just ult in your own lane, right? So
right.
I would just like I mean this is like very aggressive, for sure. Like this is like kind of like a limit test. I think you can assume Oriana doesn't have ult because she didn't ult you right here, and she probably used it in this fight for whatever reason, right? So I wouldn't be
Mhm.
like I wouldn't be too worried about this. Like if you cut her and you just throw your E slow, she's in like this weird like choke. You can probably hit your abilities. So I would go for it personally. It's like it's a bit aggressive, for sure, but it's a decision I would make. So and then yeah, your Morgana just didn't see that you let me see. I want to make sure that you communicated this properly. Yeah, like
Yeah,
you
I
didn't throw
just
any
didn't really
pings.
think. Yeah.
I would throw pings here, right? Like your Morgana just is assuming like she's just seeing this Oriana 0 HP and is like, I'm gonna kill this girl, you know? Um
Mhm.
and so she doesn't really see your intent to like go back to the wave. So I would just throw a couple caution pings. And you might have just prevented her from like walking in like that. So something to keep in mind at
Mhm.
least. Nice. Oriana disrespects a little bit. Okay, so I think we may be a little tunneled on our lane here
Yeah, I
because
didn't notice the Nautilus walking.
yeah, which I get it, right? Like you're like right here, especially right, like you're hitting wave and you're like walking up on her, like Smolder's in bot lane or like through the bot river, so it's like kind of sick. You're hitting her, like it feels like you're like in this like mode of like, all right, I'm putting down the pressure on this Oriana right now, right? And but like right in this moment, this is what's called like kind of like a miniature lull state, and like a lull state's like I don't know, like it's like a moment where you have to think about the game, right? And like you're
Mhm.
in this like little point where you're not hitting anything. All you have to do is like look at the map and assess it, right?
Mhm.
And like figure out like what's going on. And if you like just were in that little moment, you might have realized that like you were under threat bot lane, right? And I have noticed
Mhm.
like a lot of your wards this game have just been only in the river, like
Mhm.
in these river bushes. And I would really recommend like finding opportunities to get them like a little bit deeper.
Okay.
It can go a long way. I mean, I think this bot lane one is like is actually like pretty good. and it doesn't take a lot of time. But over this ledge on this raptor wall could help you like a lot, especially if you feel like you're losing track of the jungler. So, um, yeah. So it's, I mean, you played it like mechanically well. I think like I don't really have any issue with it. You burned flash on both of them actually.
Yeah, I didn't notice the graves here either, so
Hmm.
I die off of this assault. But it's yeah, I mean it's the same issue, right? Like I don't know.
Yeah, like I mean, it's like you shoved the Oriana out of the wave, right? So you're probably just thinking like you're free to just hit this, right? Like Nautilus is isn't gonna be able to
Mhm.
stop you. I would just like you gotta wait for your E though, right? So like
Mhm.
right here, like I
I'm
wouldn't
like
be.
stepping up too hard before I have the wave clear that I need.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
okay.
I think that like just like kind of just like fake it, like oh yeah, like I'm not gonna walk up for this wave, and then you can kind of like get up here and then just like combo it this way. It's hard for me to
Yeah.
say because I can't tell you. Like I probably wouldn't be able to tell you in this moment if I was playing this game which side Graves is going to be on. So um yeah, like I mean I don't know. I can't remember when you saw him.
We
I mean
saw
you
him
saw
on
him here like
the way.
maybe, but you're so focused on the wave. Like I don't even expect you to see him. Like you're so focused on like hitting this wave and like dodging out on Nautilus that I probably wouldn't see him as well if I was playing this exact same way, right? So like I don't want you to like worry too much about like oh I'm just like not seeing these people because like there's reasons for it. I just think if you were maybe a little more like back here is when you prep yourself for it, right? Like before
Mhm.
you combo this, like when you clear this wave, this is when you should be thinking, okay, where do I need to like get my ward out? Where are everyone on the map, right? And if you prep yourself
Right.
here, then like when you're in those moments, like it'll be easier to make the intuitive decision to like play on the other side and not get caught out by this, right? So
Right.
um let's see. Yeah, I mean this is unfortunate too because it is as dragons up. Unfortunately, I mean I don't know if Mordekaiser has TP, but we really hope not. Your bot lane's doing great and Samir is dead, so this still works out just fine. I think your TP is a little aggressive maybe, but I guess you have Morgana shield worst case scenario, so it works out. Kill the Nautilus, perfect. Um yeah, my intention is definitely get the dragon. Oh, your smolder reset. What a guy. Okay, that's fine. I mean, you killed the Nautilus anyways, so
I think that was a bad W there. I don't know.
yeah, I got you were scared of the Samira eating on you. I don't think it's too big of a deal. Um oh nice flick. Okay. Now this is scary because Mordekaiser did TP. Okay, good. Immediately dip towards your team here. Yeah, good. I mean, where did this Mordekaiser go? He just. I'm so scared for you from bot lane. Finally, he shows up. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, they kind of just ran into us one at a time, to be honest. But
Yeah. I mean, the skirmishing was fine. Like, I don't really have like many issues with it. Like, yeah, there's like a lot of things that maybe could be cleaned up, but overall, I think you played it fine. I think yeah, maybe a little bit more patient on the W because if she eases in on you, then she's gonna get hit by the or she's gonna get stunned on the E anyways. Um, but past that, like I don't like I think you played it quite fine. Um, and the only other thing is like I would be like a little more cautious of Mordekaiser on the spot side. because I don't know where he went, but he isn't bot lane because there's a
Right.
bajillion wards here. So yeah, like if you get hit by Mordekaiser ult, like you're just gonna lose the fight, and it's just not good. So um,
I think I had made an assumption that Mordekaiser didn't have ult because our Kassanti died solo before he TP'd.
mhm. Yeah, I mean, I can see that. If that was your thought, I think it's more fine. But still, like he had flash. You don't have flash, and he had flash and Rylai's. So if you're playing deep enough into this pocket and you got caught by something, then
Yeah.
you would have probably died anyways. So,
Mhm.
but honestly, the skirmishing was fine. Like I think that you can get a far away with that quality of skirmishing. So nice. We just pick up another freebie. I definitely like this. I like that you're playing to hard shove. I think you should have like more of a goal here though than walk up into like them, right? Because
Mhm.
the goal of shoving, right? At this okay, so when you're in lane, the goal of shoving is like get minion advantage so you can like walk up and be in their face and trade more effectively, right? The goal of
Mhm.
shoving here, especially when Nautilus shows mid, is like go do something else, right? Like help your jungler, help your bot lane or something, right? And obviously it's
Mhm.
like sure right now your bot lane died, but you're at 16 minutes into the game anyways. So if you just like you could just be collecting this bot wave instead of being mid, and then you can transfer to bot, and your smolder can have mid as he probably wants anyways, because Morgana's gonna be spending a lot of time around mid. But instead, like
Mhm.
yeah, like you just walk up. Yeah, none of them die. Tragic. Oh, we got him. Yeah, I mean this is like where like when one games become lost, right? It's like the moments
Mhm.
like these um that we kind of like miss what we're doing, right? Because I think it's like it's clear that like you had like hey, you had a good start to this game, right? Your lane phase went pretty well, I think. You got a lot of gold. Fights somehow worked out for you, even though they were like a little messy. And then like it seemed like you just kept fighting, right? It was like we had this top fight, and then like we kind of went mid, and then we got caught by Nautilus and Graves, and then we also went bot and like had this like 10-minute dragon fight, right? Like
Right.
all this stuff is just happening. Um, and then it like kind of puts you in this mode of like, okay, like I need this is what I need to keep doing. I need to keep hitting them. Like I'm just always fighting them. And you talk about this feast or famine playstyle where it's like you're either like popping off, not dying at all, or you're dying a lot. And this might be like the reason is because you're kind of feeding into it when things get messy, right? It's like, okay, you got caught off by this gank. And then like instead of like being like, okay, like Orianna ult plus Nautilus is a scary combo. So I need to be thinking about Nautilus. I need to not be fighting when he's around mid. Instead, like you're positioning like this when Nautilus is here. It's like, yeah, sure, or like Morgana's here, but like this should not be your goal, you know?
Mhm.
Oh my goodness, what did I just do? Okay. Yeah, so I think that this is kind of where like you lose the plot of the game. Like you kind of lose what you need to be doing. Like don't freak out.
Mhm.
Like there are opportunities for you, right? Objectives are where you want to play. Like organized team fights where you know how, like you can play front to back and hit with the brand and hit the front line. Like that's where you want to be playing. But instead you're just playing way too aggressively. And this is something I had to learn as well. Is like Taliyah loves fog of war, right? Like that's why she's so good at controlling like these objectives. If she gets there first, is because like people have to walk into her E and W, and it's just impossible. Um,
Mhm.
and when you're playing like this, like all of your intention is given away. Like they know exactly where you are. They know exactly what cooldowns you have, and if you're like, you know, if you get hit by anything, you get hit by Nautilus Q or a Orianna ult, then you're just dead. So I think these are
Okay.
like probably, I think these are probably the moments where like you're losing the most games. Like it's telling to me that like once you get into these situations, it's more so like you're just fighting people, and then whoever comes out on top is just gonna win the game.
Mhm.
And like if it happens to be that like a couple people show up in your lane, then it might just like you're just gonna like end up dying and losing like shutdown and whatnot. Fortunately, yeah. I mean, I think
I
this is decent. What were we gonna say?
sort of walked back into the Mordekaiser there. I don't know exactly what I was thinking when that happened. I think watching it myself after the fact, I was like trying to stay on my worked ground so that I could like throw the big Q
Right.
uh to like kill him in time, but I just like I totally can live there, I think. You know, like I think maybe like I don't know, if you watch here like I get pulled and then
Hmm.
I have my work ground kind of close to him. So I
I
land
see.
my flick and then like just walk into him anyway, you know?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I see like why you kind of like walked into him here. I think if we want to like get into the skirmishing, I think the ult initially is like
Yeah, I don't think it was very good.
a bit like unclean. Like I see it. Like and I don't want to harp on it too much because it's really not like that bad. Like and it works out for you. More so, I'm like concerned about this where it's like you got time, you know, like you don't need to be walking into this you should be like kind of expecting unless
That
Mordekaiser,
he's gonna yeah, he didn't show up
yeah,
on the
like
other
just did
side.
like he's gonna be sitting in there waiting for you to walk in. So I don't
Uh-huh.
know. He ends up getting you caught out, and then it's like, and then you're just dead again. And you had, I mean, that was another Okay, you actually didn't have a shutdown, but uh, even if right, like it's just like more time spent like dead that you're just giving them back like gold and letting them get even. So
Mhm.
we'll go through a bit more of this here.
Oh yeah. So here like we're I think it's Soul that's up bot side. I like pinged that I had teleport and went to go match the Mord with the Herald, and my
Hmm.
Smolder shows up here, and so I feel like I have to stay and help him fight this
Right.
because especially since like I don't know, um, like my team, two of my team die bot side here, so I especially feel like I can't now go contest Dragon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
I mean, the first thing is like you got to be like if you don't want anyone to help you, like you need to be pinging this away, and you need to be pinging assistance on the dragon, right? Because
Mhm,
you should be telling him like, don't come here, like I got this, like you need to focus on dragon, right? And you don't
mhm,
do that. At least like that would be like the first step to make sure that you're doing everything you can to communicate what you actually want. Um,
mhm,
Second is like I yeah, like so he shows up, which is like fine. Like you are kind of forced to like now stay here. Bot lane's already too late, so like it's too late when they died, so you're fine, just kill this guy at least. But yeah, like I mean this is another moment where you like don't get into the play. I wouldn't TP here, but it's like it's whatever. Like this is not kind of like the main goal.
mhm,
Yeah, and then you're like fighting, and then you lose your flash. I mean, I think that I can kind of see how this game is going out now, where it's like
mhm,
even though you're picking up like the occasional kill, like I think you've like the game has gotten far too chaotic for you.
mhm. This was a really bad ult. I like saw the like low graves and just ulted at him. I don't know. It like the fight ends up being okay anyway, but it like I mean
Yeah,
I think I get into games like this where I've already died a couple times and I feel like I just go and try to get
yeah.
a bunch of damage
It
down
seems like
instead of
it's like you're just like I feel like I see the trend where it's like you're just like okay, fuck it, like let me just walk into this Mordekaiser and I'll try something. It's like or let me just ult in here at the Graves low HP and like try to kill him right without like a respect to like your life. You know, it's like you
Mhm,
not dying is so important. Um, just because like it gives you more time up. Like you're essential for like playing these objective fights, right? You do damage to like do you have DPS for Baron, you have like the chokes, right? Like you're just like so integral to like these fights that you can't just be like whatever, like let me just go in and see how much I can do before I die. Yeah, and
Mm.
these fights get yeah, just like
I
not
think it
great.
reaches a point where they're just like as a squad of 5, like so much stronger than our squad of 5 that we can't really do much.
Yeah, I mean Mordekaiser, like it just makes it so difficult to like you can't really deal with Mordekaiser well. Um yeah, I mean like and even if you're living at this point, you're like your team's just losing, right? Because yeah, I mean they just tell you to stretch from here. So okay, I think the biggest thing, right, that I want you to take away from this is moments like these. I guess we're in the 1980s or something. Okay. Um, it's like moments like these, right, where you get into this, at 15 minutes into the game, right? It seems like your early is fine. Like I don't have any issue. I think that you could adapt how you're playing the lane a little bit more to just like juice it out a little bit more and be a little more consistent. But it's really not that big of a deal. I think your skirmishing is fine as well. Like I think like nothing I've seen so far with like your skirmishing is like we really need to like focus on this one thing and not like you're using E properly. I think just fine. You're spacing pretty well for the most part until you get like kind of into these later stages when you're dying too much. But it's right here that like I can tell that like your intention is like lost from what like you need to be doing in the game, like what role you need to be fulfilling, right?
Hmm.
And I don't know if this is just in games like where there's too much fighting and you're getting ganked consistently, or if this isn't in all of your games. But like these are the kind of mistakes that I want you to be looking for when you're like reviewing your own games as to like as to why you're losing, right? So
Okay.
if you have a lead in early and and your lane has been going well, then find this death right here, like at 15 minutes, or like anywhere between like 10 to 20 minutes, that like it feels like you just died for no reason, or you're getting like caught by like things that you shouldn't be.
Okay.
Because like we saw that like kind of consistently where this Nautilus like kind of just like kept running at you, and like if someone showed up, like if Graves or Mordekaiser showed up with you, um or like with him, then you just like ended up dying for it. Um because you just lose all the momentum in your games, right? And like these games that you have zero deaths and you're like popping off, those are the games that are easier to win because you don't like everything is just like in flow, in sync, right? Like you don't have to like it's just so easy when you die to like get like thrown off of like the flow that was like that you were like synced to early.
Hmm.
Um so I think that like that's the moment that I really like those are the moments that I really want you to look to, because you just got to remember Talia's identity, right? Talia is not like this get up in your face like and play down the lane very like very clean, like obviously, right? Like she likes to
Hmm.
move to like sideways. So like don't be afraid to like get into the side wave and pick up side waves and then use your ult to make plays mid, or even like dip and just and like try to make plays with your top laner on side lane. I mean, obviously it doesn't make sense this game into Mordekaiser, but like you
Hmm.
get the idea, right? Play in Fog of War, like pay more attention to your neutral objectives, because like that's where the fights, and it seems like every single time that you had like a neutral objective fight, it was often like you were not in a position to like actually like influence it well, right? Like you had a TP late to the dragon fight down here. You like roamed up with 0 HP to catch mid wave, and so you were late to this grub fight as well, right? Like it's
Hmm.
those like essential moments that like are throwing you like your game off, right? So so my suggestions to you, right? My plan is it's like when you see like something like this, right? Ask
Hmm.
yourself, okay, it's like okay, did I like why am I doing this? Like why am I dying here? And if it's like or what should I be doing here instead, right? And think about like, okay, is there opportunities for me to be like be side lane and pick up farm or create like an advantageous play with my top laner, right? Or with my side laner. That's like the first thing I want you to be thinking about. Second thing I want you to be thinking about is like, okay, what are the consistencies of this game, right? So like Nautilus was consistently coming mid and showing up with Graves, and you were constantly getting caught out by him because Oriolt's it just makes you really hard to play, right? So
Mm-hmm.
like are you properly like playing to like what your champion wants to do, right? Talia doesn't want to fight down mid. She wants to um use fog of war and use neutral objectives to like make people come into her. And the fights that you had that happen like were the ones that like worked out for you, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then finally just pay attention to these neutrals, right? Or like these moments where you walked up from ball lane here, right? It's like if you see these pings here, right? You have to be thinking like, okay, first of all, I don't want this. Second of all, if the play does get to a point where we can fight this, my entire goal is like base and TP and make it so like I can actually like influence this play. And the
Right.
same thing for this dragon fight down here, which was like here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was this the same one? Oh yeah. So like I mean, yeah, like so you're prepping for this objective here, right? You just got your
Mm-hmm.
base, you just like came back. Like you're in such a great spot. But instead of like kind of like waiting for your support to come out of base, like waiting for your brand or even meeting up with your smolder and bot lane and getting wards and vision early. Like you're kind of just like you're really tunneling on this mid lane. Um and I think that these are like that's probably what's going to end up in you like either throwing or losing a lot of your games, right? So
Mm-hmm.
these are the moments I want you to keep in mind. If you have like moments like this and like you can like clip it or if you're like confused and you want to clip it and send it to me, I can definitely give you like my take and my advice on kind of like what might be going on or like what you should have been doing instead.
Mm-hmm.
But just pay attention to the neutral objectives, pay attention to what you're consistently getting caught off guard from like in your games, like if and like stop like playing up into this like post 8 minutes, right? Like this is just not what Talia wants. So
Okay.
yeah, do you have any questions regarding that or questions about the game in general or just anything?
No, I think that makes sense. I Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to consider. Am I going to be able to? I guess you're making a video out of it. I kind of want to re-listen to some of the things that you said.
Yeah, I
Um,
have the recording, so I can definitely send it to you early, like if I can just drop it in like a Google Drive and stuff.
yeah,
That way you
that
can
would
watch
be
it back.
great.
Yeah. Um so I would say so just like focus on this stuff. Like I said, like don't sweat about your skirmishing. And your early lane looks like generally fine. You can try some of the stuff that I said where like you can be a little more aggressive in shoving waves and stuff. Um, but like everything looks fine. Like I think your ability issue is good. If there's a clear issue, then yeah, look at it. But these moments are where you should be putting a large majority of your attention. And then when we meet again, like in about a week or so, we can like look for that specifically. And see like kind of how you're playing, like if you're transitioning into this mid game, like more effectively and not getting caught and killed in these scenarios. So,
Okay.
all right. So, any other questions that you got?
I don't think so.
Okay, cool. Well, best of luck to you, and then yeah, and then hopefully we can see some improvements and take a look next week. Uh, so yeah.